Hey everybody, this is Craig, aka Clyde72, as I'm known in the Shaving Cadre. Really suggest if you enjoy this video that you come and join us on the Shaving Cadre. That's www.theshavingcadre.com. Just a group of people on there that enjoy traditional wet shaving and other gentlemanly pursuits, as we like to say. So this is going to be my how-to traditional wet shave video, and what I'm going to talk about today is how I recommend to people that ask me, hey Craig, how do I shave the way that you're shaving? And this is what I tell them. This is the way I recommend that they start. It's what works for me now. It's what worked for me then. Then it's kind of evolved. There's been some things added along the way. Okay, first of all, what is traditional wet shaving? Well, we're all probably using some type of modern system to shave with now. We're probably using something like one of these electric type razors, right? And that's what I was using before I started traditional wet shaving was this actual razor here. And the problem with it is I just wasn't getting really good shaves. And it was, you know, it took forever. It's not like and done. No, you got to sit there and rub and scrub and twist and turn and all that stuff, and it just led to a bunch of irritation on my neck. I was constantly having, you know, pimples and stuff, and it was all from this. I can say that now, it was all from this, every bit of it, okay? Or you may be using some kind of multi-bladed cartridge, as we call them. This is an old Gillette Mach 3 that's still available, and I think they're up to 5 blades on the Fusions now, and there's also some people out there offering some 6-bladed cartridges, I believe. And we call these cartridges plastic cartridges because the part that holds the blades is encased in a plastic cartridge, right? And there's multiple pieces of steel in there, and the theory is that it pulls and stretches and all this stuff and makes for a better shave. Well, yes, you can get a good shave with one of these. I'm not going to say that you can't. The problem is these multiple blades going across your face at one time tends to irritate your skin, and it leads a lot of people with razor burn and irritation, and a lot of people who think they have sensitive skin. Well, I introduce them to this type of shaving, the traditional wet shaving, and they say, hey, I thought I had sensitive skin, but I didn't. Turns out it was this multi-bladed cartridge thing that I was using. So again, we're going to be talking about using traditional type shaving equipment, okay? One of the oldest, and I guess the oldest traditional type shaving equipment, other than a sharpened rock, I guess would be, is like the straight razors, right? Now, I'm not going to go into a straight razor tutorial today. I'm just using this to show what a straight razor is in case you don't know. Some people call them cutthroat razors. I don't recommend you start traditional shaving with one of these. There's a very long learning curve for most people using one of these razors, and I'd rather you learn how to get good shaves using something a little bit easier to use, actually a lot easier to use. And then if you so desire, there's plenty of people that will be more than happy to help you use one of these. So what we're talking about with the double edge razors is this type of razor. This is an old vintage Gillette razor that was made in the year 1963. It's what's called a Gillette Slim Adjustable. And this is also known as a twist to open, or TTO razor, because if you twist the bottom of it, the butterfly doors, some people call them butterfly razors, open up and your blade goes in here. Then you close it back up and you're ready to shave. Now it's adjustable because of this right here. You see this dial and these numbers? Okay, with 1 being the mildest setting and 9 being the most aggressive setting. So what you're actually doing is changing the amount of blade that is exposed with each one of these settings. Now, one of these razors, or vintage adjustable razor or some other type, would be a great razor to start with. You can pick these up from dirt cheap up to a couple of $100 depending on the condition they're in. But you can get one that's rather usable from in the I'd say $25 to $50 price range generally, okay? What I recommend you start with, because you don't have to worry about it, is, am I getting a good razor? Is it in good shape? Can I use it? Yeah, no, just start with a new razor, okay? This is a Razor Rock Mission. This is a mild razor. Don't start with an aggressive razor. Start with a mild or medium razor. This razor actually is more of a medium type razor, okay? And this is referred to as a three-piece razor. Then they made some vintage three-piece razors, but this is a modern three-piece razor. It has a stainless steel handle, and it has a cast pot metal chrome-plated head, which most do. And we call them three-piece because the handle unscrews, and then you have the base plate, and then you have the head, okay? And the razor blade goes here, in between the base plate and the head. And then you put it back together, and screw it together, and voila, you have your three-piece safety razor or double-edged razor. And again, I don't want people to confuse the double-edged razors with a double-bladed cartridge. Okay, when I say double-edged razor, this is what I'm talking about, this type of blade right here. Okay, you see it has a cutting edge here and a cutting edge here, but there's only one edge that you use at a time, right? Okay. You've heard the definition, razor thin? Well, there you go, razor thin. But that's what we're talking about. This is a double-edged razor blade or a safety razor blade. Okay. Now then, the next thing you're going to need is a brush of some kind. And I recommend that you start with a synthetic brush. Now, the brush I'll actually be using to shave with today, I've got soaking right now just because I like to soak my brushes before I shave with them. And it's a synthetic, so you don't really have to do that, but it doesn't hurt anything. It's just a habit because I'm in that habit. When I'm using my natural hair brushes, I do have to soak them. This is a Madgar Razors. It's one of their synthetics. And the synthetics are very nice. They're very inexpensive. You can generally pick them up in the $8 to $20 price range. There are some that are more expensive, but generally $8 to $20 is where I see most of them landing at. And you just pick one that you like. Go, oh, that's a pretty color, or I like the shape of that handle, or that sounds right. Because starting off, you're really not going to have to know one way or the other. And what you're looking for is something that has some decent backbone. You see how it's not bending out of the way when I apply pressure? That's what we refer to as backbone. But you want it to feel soft, okay? Most people like a soft brush, and the synthetics feel super soft. They really do. Another option that's fairly inexpensive is a bore brush. And you can pick these up for under 30 bucks all day long. Some of them as little as $8 or $9 actually. And they're good brushes, and this is actually made from boar hair, right? And this has excellent backbone, much stiffer. The only problem with the boar brush is they don't tend to be as soft to me, okay? But they're still great brushes. I've got this one, I've had it for some time, and it takes a while to break them in, but they still give great shaves, or great lathers. And the other option is a badger brush, okay? And there are all different grades of badgers out there. Don't get caught up on that to start with. Just find you, again, this is just for example purposes. I don't recommend you go out and start with a badger brush. I did, but I don't recommend it, okay? This is actually the brush that I started with, and this is called a silver tip badger. There's pure badger, best badger, high mountain badger, Manchurian badger, 2 bands, 3 bands. It goes on and on. There's probably a dozen different grades of badger hair, each one progressively more expensive because it's more rare or hard to come by. But for today's shave, we're going to be using a synthetic. Like I said, it's not this particular brush, but it is a synthetic brush, very similar, just made by a different guy. And this will work just fine. Now then, as I said, traditional wet shaving, we're going to use some kind of soap or cream, right? So today's shave, I'm going to be using Proraso cream. This is the Proraso Red. This is the box that it comes in typically. And it's actually in a cube, like so, right? You can see the tube. Now then, it has a slight, actually pretty nice sandalwood scent to it. And it's the reason I like it is because of the sandalwood scent. Now they make 3 other versions. They make we call this Proraso Red because it's in the red box, right? They also make a Proraso Blue and a Proraso Green and a Proraso White. The green has menthol, if you like that cooling effect while you're shaving. The blue has lanolin and aloe, I believe, added to it for extra skin conditioning if you want that. And the white is quote unquote for sensitive skin. All of them also have a matching aftershave as an FYI. And I know this is probably what you're using now, right? And yes, you can still use it, but I don't recommend it. My first aha moment was when I put this stuff down and picked this brush up and made a lather and put that lather on my face. And I said, man, I don't know anything else about wet shaving, but this is definitely the way to go as a brush and lather, not this. And if you got to use this, actually, this is pretty good. And inexpensive, too. So there we go. That's one type of cream. There's other people that make creams. I recommend the Prosso. It's easy, it works. Okay, then there's also, we mentioned soaps, right? Well, there's different types and styles of soaps. There are some commercially made soaps. This is Williams Mug Shaving Soap, right? Okay, this is actually the oldest commercially made shaving soap in the world. It was first made back in the mid 1800s. And it's a puck, what we call a puck. And this is hard, right? And you drop this down in your mug or bowl and you make your lather on it, or load your brush and then make your lather. That's a commercially available soap that's still available today, and it works, and it's like $1.50. Then we have some artisan soap. Well, this is also a commercial soap, which is Prosso. Notice the color, notice the label. It's the same company. It's just this is a soap where that's a cream. The performance of the soap may be slightly better for some. I can say maybe just a little bit, but I bought the soap just to find out if it was better than the cream. And yeah, the soap is slightly better than the cream. But it's also a little bit more difficult to use, but still easy to use. There are also many artisans out there that make shaving creams and soaps. This is a shaving soap here. And just so you can see the difference in it, it doesn't look that much different than a Prosso, does it? And that's what it is, okay? And here's another brand of shaving soap that's made by another artisan, right? And they will come up with the scents that are extremely nice. That's one of the reasons we use artisan soaps, is because of the scents. So that's your shaving soaps and shaving creams, your shaving brushes, and your razors. What else will I need to do my shave? Well, here's some other things that I recommend. And now we've shaved, we've used our brush, we've made our lather, we've shaved off with the double edge. We're ready for the post-shave routine. So the post-shave routine, the first thing I do is I use what's called an alum block. This is an alum block. It's made of alum. It's a block. Okay, you can just buy one. Don't spend a lot of money for one. You can pick them up usually for $5 or less. And I think some of them can be more than that. But anyhow, we'll get into this when I get into the post-shave routine. And that's used post-shave. I do recommend you use one of these. Okay, I also recommend you use some witch hazel, right? This happens to be what I'm using right now. At the moment, it's Dixon's. It's a pure rich hazel. It works, doesn't have any added scents. There's also another brand out there called Thayer's that I use a lot, that they have some added scents. They have alcohol added to them and non-alcohol. They have scented, unscented. They work really good too. It's just I happen to have the Dixon's out today. Then the last thing you're going to need is some kind of aftershave. All right. What is an aftershave? Well, most of us have seen this around sometime or another. Aquavelva. It's good stuff. It's been around forever. Remember the old Aquavelva commercials? Joe Namath? Yeah. Okay. Same stuff. It's been around for a long time. Works great. Bernard Clubman. You went with your dad or granddad to the barbershop and there was that smell in there. This is probably what you were smelling, was Bernard Clubman. Really good stuff. Not expensive at all. I'm going to be using, for today's shave, I'll be using a matching aftershave that Prosso puts out that's a matching scent of the soap. And it's really good. It's nice. Also, most of the artisans out there also make their own aftershaves or balms. Okay, that's a aftershave lotion. It's a liquid. It's very thin. It's like water, right? And there are also aftershave balms. Again, Aquavelva. This is good stuff. It hasn't been out that long, but it's very nice. And this is like a cream, okay? All the balms are like creams. This is another type of balm, okay? This is a balm in a different type of container. And this is an artisan-made balm, okay? That's Soap Commander. He also makes soaps, and he makes these balms also. Very nice stuff. So, that's the basics of the stuff that you need to traditional wet shave and what you need to know. And then we're going to come into next and we'll make our lather. And after we make our lather, we'll do a pre-shave routine and talk about that. And then we'll actually get into the shave.